Hello, this is your instructor again. This is our video lecture for week 2 of our class. Now, we made it through the first of many different sessions that we'll have together, and I'm glad that you're sticking with this. So today, what I want to talk to you about are the assignments that are due for this week. We're going to take a look at one of those to go through it because it's a very important assignment that will help you with your very first speech that you're doing today for this week. So for our first thing we'll talk about is the discussion post that's due. The discussion post is due by this Friday night by midnight. That's the initial post. And then your replies to at least 2 classmates due by Sunday night by midnight. Now, in the initial post, I'm really looking to see not only that you tell me your opinion of things, what you think. That's very important. But I'm also looking to see that you reference the specific chapter in our textbook. And I want you to put the chapter of the textbook by number. I want you to name the page number in there that you're finding this information. For example, the discussion for this week has to do with chapter 5 out of your Lucas textbook. So what I want to see when I read your initial post is where what Lucas says about selecting topics in chapter 5, or what he says about a specific purpose. How do you select a specific purpose? What is the reason that you have to know the specific purpose? How do you use it in your presentation? And I want you to list not only chapter 5, I want to see that in the post, but I want to see in the post a page number that you're referencing. That shows me that you have not only read through the chapter, but you understand one part of it at least. And so that's very helpful, and that's part of your grade that I'm looking at. So make sure that you take a look at that discussion and your answer, and make sure that it's got a reference or a quote, a paraphrase of something in chapter 5. The second thing I'd like to talk about is your quiz is due by Sunday night, by midnight. Remember, this is a closed book quiz, and for this week, it's on chapters 5, 15, and 19. So read over chapters 5, 15, and 19, and then go to the Blackboard site where it says quiz, select that, and try to complete that quiz. The third thing is something that I want to look at, and that's the worksheet that's due for this speech. You'll have a worksheet that is due for each of your speeches 1 week prior to when the speech is due. Now that means that this worksheet is subject to change. This worksheet is valid, as of the day that you complete the worksheet. Things about it might change. So try to complete this worksheet the best that you can. I'll look it over and give you comments on whether you've completed it or not, how well of a job that you've done. It might be that you and I need to have a personal conversation, a Zoom conference to talk about your worksheet, to talk about the speech itself. And if so, then we'll take a look at that. So at this point, I'm going to share my screen. You should now be seeing my screen that's up here, and we're going to take a look at the elevator speech worksheet, which is this right here. You'll download this. Several simple questions that you'll need to answer. And the first question is, who is the audience for your elevator speech? And here you need to identify a person or a company, a career field, an area in which you hope to work. This audience is going to be one person. You're not speaking to a group of people. You're not going in for an interview for the job. You're just introducing yourself to one person from this company, this place that you hope to get a job. You might have run into them just by accident on the elevator. That's why it's called an elevator speech. Or it might be that you just walk in off the street and you introduce yourself to them. Or maybe you meet them at a job fair and you only have a limited amount of time to introduce yourself, find out some information from them, and then move on. So just listing who is the audience is question number 1. The second question is, what is the specific purpose of your speech? And you need to remember that specific purpose means what you hope this particular presentation will do. This particular, it's not just informative. I'm not just going to give information on myself in this speech. but it's specifically to set up a follow-up meeting. Perhaps it would be a job interview. Maybe it would just be another time to meet with this person or to meet with HR person in the company if it's a large company. Maybe the specific purpose is simply to meet at a time when you have more time to meet with this person. They're really busy and you'd like to spend some more time with them. So the specific purpose is going to be not to get a job. That's not the purpose. The specific purpose is going to be to set up some kind of follow-up meeting. Question number 3 is the central idea in a single sentence. And in this, just for our purposes, the central idea is in one sentence, can you encapsulate everything that you're going to specifically do in the speech? And remember, you have only two main points, and the central idea should contain both of them. One of your main points is to tell a little bit about what you can contribute to this company. And the second main point would be, why did you want to work for this particular company instead of another company? What is it about this company that you particularly like or that's going to help you in your career? So your single sentence for question 3 should mention both of those main points. Question 4 then is to list and support through facts, examples, definitions, quotations, your two different main ideas. And here is the description of the first main idea, described what you can offer the employer if you were hired into this position. And then your second main idea 2, describes why you want to work for this prospective employer's company or area. So those are the 2 main points. So the first main idea number 1, main point number 1, is what can you offer the employer? What's something you can offer to them? Maybe you can offer to them that you have experience in this field, or maybe you can offer them that you got a degree in a certain area that's related to this field. Maybe it's that you won some awards for your work in this area. But you need to describe what it is that that qualifies you to work for this company. And then underneath of that, you need to tell me what's one piece of information you'll use to support this. What are some details that support what you've done? And a second piece of information to support this is what? So you should have 2 different supporting information pieces to support your sentence, your qualification for working there. Then B, your second main idea, is going to be why this particular company. What is it about this company that interest you to work for them? Maybe it's because they're a small company and you want to work for a smaller company, or maybe it's a large company and you want to be able to move up into this field, and you know that having this company on your resume is going to be something that will really help you in the future. But you need to list what's your reason for wanting to work for this particular company, and then again, underneath of that, 2 supporting pieces of information. Now you can go on the web and you can actually do research on this company if it's a real company. If it's a made-up company, then you're not going to be able to do that. But just support your main idea in 2 different ways. What are you going to do to support your sentence? The 5th question is, in my introduction, after I introduce myself, that's how you should start. Hello, my name is Russ Tompkins, or whatever your name is. Then what are you going to say? What's your attention getter? It's not your central idea. You need to do something at the very beginning, not very long, because this is a really short presentation, only 1 to 2 minutes in length, total length. So perhaps it's simply asking a rhetorical question, perhaps. Or perhaps it's stating, your rationale for coming here. I know this is a job fair, you could say, and I saw that you were over here, so I decided that I would come over here and introduce myself to you. Or perhaps you said, I happen to be going by your company, and I thought maybe I would just stop in and introduce myself to you. So maybe just a short little way to get their attention. And then number 6, question 6 is, I will state my central idea by saying, and then here list what your central idea is. Today, I want to talk to you about 2 things, you will say. First, I want to tell you about a qualification of mine to work for this company. And secondly, I wanted to talk about this company and what I really admire about this company. So that's what you would say in your central idea. Question 7, in your conclusion, you will restate the central idea. Restating means to say the central idea again. In other words, you tell the audience your 2 main points again, but say it in slightly different verbiage. Don't just repeat exactly what this is, but restate this in other words. Then in your conclusion, question 8, then you'll thank your audience for listening. And I think you should also, at the end, you should offer some way to have a follow-up meeting with them, perhaps exchange business cards and say, I will follow up by sending you an email, lining up a meeting for, coming up soon. Or perhaps you will give them a phone call and set up another meeting. But you need to take the initiative here and don't just say, I hope that you can call me. Then question number 9 is you use these sources in your speech. List as many sources as you use to find out information about the company itself. Perhaps it was just personal information. Maybe you know somebody that works at the company, or maybe you used a website. And then question 10, list how do you know that these sources that you listed in question 9 are credible, believable? And just tell me that right here. And then that's the end of the worksheet. Save this document and then submit it on Blackboard. And then you've got the worksheet done. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is about something that we do for each of the speeches that's optional for you. But I really think it's even more than optional. It should be almost required that you sign up to do a personal Zoom meeting with me to review the worksheet and to go over this speech. I can answer questions for you individually. I can tell you if your worksheet is done correctly or not, what needs to be improved or completed on the worksheet. If you haven't got it completed, I can do all sorts of things. The Zoom meeting is 15 to 20 minutes, not very long. You sign up for a day or time that works for you. I will be sending out an email to you this week to the entire class listing all of the days and the times that I'm available. And then you simply respond to that email telling me, here's the times and dates that I am also available. So I hope that you really can do that. Lastly, I just want to tell you that the example elevator speeches that you see on the Blackboard website are okay, but I found even better examples, and I've listed 3 of those YouTube sites, those links on the email that will be sent out to you this week. So look those over, and that gives you a really great idea about what these elevator speeches are all about. Now, next week on our video lecture, I'll be going into more specifics about, how do you put the camera, where do you stand, looking at lighting, all sorts of things about the recording of these speeches, that you must be standing and not seated as I'm seated right now. But you need to be standing so I can see more of you. Extra credit available for the speeches, all sorts of things I'll talk about in next week's lecture. But that's it for now. Good luck in working on the assignments for the week, especially the elevator speech worksheet. Have any questions, don't hesitate to text me or send me an email. Hope you have a great day.